Welcome to A Picky Vegan. Tonight for dinner, I'm going to be making what we call our stuffed pepper dish. Now the difference is we don't stuff the peppers, we actually cut them up and put them into our plant-based meat alternative and the rice, and we put it in the oven like a casserole dish. So I'm going to be actually using Beyond Meat, Beyond Beef plant-based ground, and we've already had this before, we really love it. I'm going to be using orange and red bell peppers along with a few jalapenos. We have our boil in the bag rice that I will be cooking at the same time. See? And what we're going to do is we're going to cook our Beyond Beef in vegetable oil. And then for our tomato sauce, we are going to use Hunt's pasta sauce traditional. So we're testing a theory, and I'll explain that in another video. But that's what we're going to be using for our sauce tonight. So let's get started. So I've already poured some oil into the pan, so I'm just going to turn it on. And then I'm going to open the Beyond ground meat. Now, let me show you. See, it actually has a peel, which is really nice. But look at this. It just looks like regular ground beef. It does. And it says 35% less saturated fat. Now, we also have used this for taco meat. For nachos, I should say. My son really likes this as nachos. But we also have our Plant Boss, which we really love as nachos. But he was excited when he saw this. He was like, "Oh, you guys having nachos tonight?" And we're like, "No, we're not doing that." Now, also, let me show you. It says no soy, no gluten, and no GMOs. And it's 20 grams of plant protein per serving. And this particular packet it says serving size is 4 ounces. So 4 servings per container. See where it says that? Right up there. Right here. Okay. And it smells really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the blower on so that you can get actually used to that in the background. And I turned it on low. I'm probably going to add to this some garlic salt. I sure am. And not heavy on it, but just a little bit. And some onion powder. Oh, there it is. There's the garlic powder. I'm used to seeing it in a container like this. So that's Spice Island's onion powder. And then just regular garlic powder, excuse me, from the store. So what I'm going to do is, oh yeah, that oil is ready. I'm going to put this in. And start breaking it up. And as I break it up, that's when I want to add. See how it's just coming right, it's just going right apart, which is what we want. So I'm going to add to that right now some garlic powder. And a little onion powder. Because it's good, but that's just to give it a little more flavor. Okay? And I'm going to turn on the water so we can get our so that we can cook our boil in the bag rice so that it won't take as long. And what I mean by that, it won't take as long to combine everything to put in the oven. Now, yes, everything will be cooked ahead of time before we put it in the oven. We're putting it in the oven so that the flavorings can get in there, but also so that our vegan cheese can melt. See, so ours is more like a stuffed pepper casserole. That's what we'll call it, okay? Instead of actually stuffing the peppers. I mean, I cut them all up really fine, so they're in small chunks, and I'm going to show you. What is it? Okay, like that. Yep, so I have orange bell peppers and red. So tell me, have you ever tried the Beyond Meat beef? And it is ground, so this is all plant-based. And now, when you're using vegan, plant-based meat, you need to make sure it cooks all the way through because it already starts out brown. And it's not cooked for the most part. Usually it's not cooked, it's raw. So you have to cook it where it really, you can tell that it is done. So that means sometimes it may be a little crispy because you let it get darker. So you can actually see some of the crunchiness on there. And what I mean by that is that it's brown, but it's almost like when you toast bread, right? So it actually says cook for 5 to 8 minutes. Okay, you see that's me not reading the directions ahead of time. So I would recommend you set your timer when you start cooking it. And since I didn't, I'm just gonna keep on so I know it's right. And it did. It broke up really good into really small pieces, and that's what I wanted for this. Now, Beyond does have meatballs, but we're not having spaghetti tonight. We're actually doing rice in our stuffed pepper dish, casserole. Now, what I'm going to do now is add the bell peppers and the jalapenos. And I'm just going to add just a little more oil so that the jalapenos can cook well. Because see, what happens when you have vegan meat, there's no oil to that. You know, other than what I put in there. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. See? So I'm going to continue to stir it around so that the bell peppers and the jalapenos cook. Don't that look good? See, just imagine adding some rice and then the tomato sauce. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so yummy. rice this time. And that is because I'm only doing 1 can of tomato sauce. See, now you can tell that that meat is cooked. See the color of it? It looks crunchy, right? So I know it's cooked. And I'm just going to turn it down just a little bit more so that while the rice is finishing up, it doesn't overcook per se. Wow, that's going to be so good. See how colorful that is? Let me show you. Okay. Oh, that is so good. And see, the peppers are just right. So the rice will be done here really shortly. And we're going to put it in there, and then we'll put the tomato sauce in there. Cake sauce. I'm going to go ahead and preheat the oven so that when we get ready to put it in there, we don't have to wait for that part. So let's do this way. Yeah, so that way that'll be ready once we put the rice in. and the sauce, and we'll mix it up, and then we'll put it on a casserole dish, put the cheese on top, and put it in the oven. And we'll do that and it's gonna be, I put it at 400, and I'm probably gonna let it cook in there for about 15 minutes at the most. See, this is an easy vegan dish. Don't make being vegan hard. If that's what you want to attempt to do, think about the dishes you already eat and how you can substitute either plant-based meat or even breakfast sausage, plant-based breakfast sausage. You know, whatever it is that you do, think about how you can substitute it, because we have found waffles, we've made cookies, which you're going to see on the channel here really shortly. We have found vegan ice cream that is so yummy. Even my husband and my son just love it. Some of the ones that we've tried, we've even found vegan yogurt. And go back through the channel and look at the different videos. We even found jerky, plant-based jerky. And you guys, let me tell you something. I'm having the hardest time finding the hot and spicy Beyond Jerky. That particular flavor, I'm having the hardest time finding. And I've been to easily 5 or 6 stores that's supposed to have it. They don't have it. Everybody has the teriyaki or the original. I want to try the hot and spicy for Beyond Meat. I really do. Beyond Jerky, I want to try the hot and spicy. I want to see how good it is because I love the original. You guys have seen that video. I want the hot and spicy. And so, like I said, this particular dish is made with Beyond Meat, Beyond Beef. And it's good. We've had Beyond Beef before, but this is the first time that I'm putting it in stuffed pepper casserole. Rice is almost done. I'm telling you guys, that skillet looks really good. I cannot wait to try this. We could make garlic bread to have on the side. We're not, but you could. We also have crescent rolls you could do on the side. We're not doing any bread tonight. It's just going to be the stuffed pepper dish casserole. Now, one thing that we used to do when we made it and we were not vegan is there were times when we would actually wrap it in a flour tortilla, and that is so good. It's almost like a burrito bowl, but in a tortilla. And we've had our stuffed pepper dish that way. That was so awesome. So we're not going to try that tonight. Tonight we want to start off with it on the plate or in a cup, because my daughter, I can see her now, she's probably going to have it in a cup. I'm guilty for that because there's a lot of times when I'm still working, so I eat at my desk, everything has to be in a cup. But tonight I'm going to put it on a plate so that I can actually look at it and really enjoy it and savor it. I'm not going to be working. I can work later. See, don't that look moist? It doesn't look dry, right? Let me show you. Let's do it again. Let's get a look. See? Now, even though we love a lot of spice, I didn't want to overdo it because I wanted to be able to taste this tonight for the first time with the tomato sauce the way it is, and also using the Beyond Meat, Beyond Beef. That's why I didn't overdo it with the jalapenos, because we love spice, but I want to get all the flavors. Okay. And the rice is almost ready. That's the timer for the oven, so I can put it right in there as soon as we mix everything together. So now the rice is ready. I'm going to drain it. Then I'm going to come back, cut it open, and put it in the skillet with everything else. So what I'm going to do is get my scissors, cut the rice open. And I've already drained it really well. Just add it to the skillet. See there? And I'm going to move this. Okay. See the rice is in there, so I'm going to weave it into the dish. Now, could I have used a second bag of rice? Oh yeah, absolutely. But since we were not sure, because you don't want to have too much rice and not enough of the mixture, right? Okay. So we have the rice. Now I'm going to turn it up a little bit. And then we're going to add the tomato sauce. Now I'm going to add a little water so I make sure I get all the sauce out of the pan. And just a little bit more. But you want to be careful because you don't want to make your sauce too runny or too watery, because then you're going to have to add another pan. That's what that means. So I'm gonna cook it a little bit here on the stove. And then we're gonna put it in the oven. Now, let me show you what that looks like if I cover it up. Look at that. See, now you can see why I said wrap it in a flour tortilla or even put it on a hamburger bun. Oh my goodness, because we've done that too. Okay, so I'm going to let it cook a little bit. I'm going to turn it up and put the lid on. Now, my casserole dish is already sitting to the right side of the stove. So when I get ready to pour it in, and actually what I'm going to use a spoon that does not have any holes in it. So I'm going to use this initially to scoop it out until it gets to the point where I can just pour it in. Okay, it's looking really good. So here's how I like to do it. Here's my... Look at that. Now maybe you're saying to yourself, I could put the cheese in there and let it cook on top of the stove, but I want it to cook in the oven. That is the whole key to this. I want it to cook in the oven because I want to see if it's going to melt better in the oven versus on top of the stove. So what we're going to do now, because that looks really good, is doing what it's supposed to. I'm going to take it off the stove and I'm going to start spooning it into my casserole dish. And I don't have much, but I'm going to use Follow Your Heart cheddar, and you see it's soy-free, vegan, lactose-free, and it's finely shredded. So it's Follow Your Heart vegan cheese, cheddar cheese, and it's dairy-free. Okay. See? So take the top off, let it all go in there. Okay, turn the skillet off. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to slowly spoon it in until I can pick the skillet up and put it all in there safely. Look at that. Oops. Okay, so okay. Now okay. Presentation is the key, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a huge fan of MasterChef and Hell's Kitchen. Okay? Presentation is important. So, now you see it's all in the casserole dish. I'm going to add the cheese right on top. And our daughter's not a big cheese lover. She's really not. But even though this is vegan, I'm still going to take that into consideration. So I'm not going to overdo it. That's what I mean by that. Because for me personally, I'd use the rest of those in this bag. But not since she doesn't like cheese like that. I'm going to cover it up and I'm going to put it in the oven just like that for about 15 minutes, And see, the oven has already been preheated, so that's going to save me some time too. So do it just like this. I did 14 minutes because it may not even take that long. Let me show you. And it's in the oven. So I'm going to come back once it's done, and that way you can see the finished product. This is the finished product. And the cheese did melt, which is what we were hoping for. Because sometimes vegan cheese does not melt. It's really tough, and so it doesn't melt. And so that is Follow Your Heart cheddar cheese that we put in there. And it did.
Finely shredded cheddar.
Finely shredded cheddar. I said that on the first part, so we're
yeah.
good. That's right, yeah. But it does, there's a difference.
Yeah, because I have one that isn't finely shredded.
Right, so you need the finely shredded if you're making this dish. And it looks really good. I'm excited. Aren't you? And she is having a cup. I knew it. So, go right ahead. Yay.
Oh, sorry.
Big old arm just went right across the screen.
My bad.
It's okay. So let me move the camera just a little bit. Okay. So you have just tuned into A Picky Vegan, and this is our stuffed pepper dish casserole. Because as you notice, we don't stuff the peppers. I cut them up and put them actually in the rice and the plant-based ground meat. It also has jalapenos, but it has red and orange bell peppers. And I used onion powder and I used garlic powder in the meat. Okay? And we cooked it in vegetable oil. And not a lot, but just enough. All right? So, like this video, leave us a comment below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Because, listen, it's not hard being vegan. Just think about what you already eat and how you can start substituting vegan or plant-based products for what it is that you eat. Be sure to hit the notification button so you're notified every time we upload videos. And definitely come back. But go and look at all the things we've already uploaded, and there's more to come. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.